evening and welcome to the August 11th, 2026 meeting of the Marion County School Board. This meeting is now called to order. Marion, modeling the way our students begin each day, I ask that we observe a moment of silence at this time. Please join me. I will now read the board commitment statement. We are the Marion County School District Leadership Team. When we come together to work, we are efficient, effective, and productive. Our three most important characteristics are dedicated, transparent, and individually responsible. To work well together, we must demonstrate respect, confront reality, and be accountable. We will always put students first, and we will leave a legacy of success. For the courtesy of those listening to the meeting, I'm requesting everyone in the audience to please turn off their electronic devices or put them on vibrate. Public comment will now be accepted during two portions of each meeting for up to 30 minutes for each portion. The first will take place prior to the board vote and will be specific to the night's agenda. The second will be for items on which the school board customarily takes action and will occur after the board completes the business portion of the meeting. Anyone wanting to speak regarding an agenda item must complete a blue form. Anyone wanting to speak regarding a non-agenda item must complete a yellow form. Both forms are available before each meeting and on the district website. Forms are due to the board clerk by 5:40 p.m. and can be submitted via email or in person. Public speakers will have 3 minutes to complete their comments, and no more than 10 speakers will be scheduled in either public comment portion unless the board votes otherwise. Ms. Martinez-Young, can you please call the roll?
Dr. Allison Campbell, District 1.
Here.
Mrs. Lori Conrad, District 2.
Here.
Reverend Dr. Eric Cummings, District 3.
Here.
Mrs. Nancy Thrower, District 4.
Here.
Dr. Sarah James, District 5.
Here.
Attorney Jeremy Powers, School Board Attorney.
Here.
Dr. Danielle Brewer, Superintendent.
Here.
And we will have our two new student board members representing us after the Inspiration and Pledge.
Wonderful, thank you. Well, Dr. Brewer, speaking of Inspiration and Pledge, could you kick us off?
Yes, good evening. This evening, Mrs. Connor, our Executive Director of K-12 Academics, will introduce our new student board representatives.
Yes, but before that, I do want to bring two of them up here with me now. Kayla Blakely from North Marion and Michaela White from Forest High School will lead us in the Inspiration and Pledge.
Good evening and welcome, ladies.
Good evening, parents and Marion County Public School Board faculty. I'm honored to be here this afternoon with the chance to share my experience being a student within this county. My name is Kayla Blakey. I'm a current student at North Marion High School here along with representatives from Forest, Denellen, Bellevue, Lake Weir, South Marion, and Westport and Spirit. I'm a member of the Cambridge ACE program offered at our school, the secretary of our National Junior Honor Society, and captain of our track and field team. I don't believe my normal day differs from any other high school student, waking up at 7 every morning, maybe earlier for meetings, and pestering my brothers so we are not late for first period. It is a lucky break, the off chance that I leave school right at the 3 p.m. bell and head home to relax. But for myself and many others, my school or not, the day is not over at 3. To name a few, Nadesha has cheer, Michaela has the cross, Catherine does FFA showing lambs, and Sophia is part of HOSA. And many of these reps have work on top of their schedules as well. This year may have only just started, but it could be as special as any other. As fate would have it, your student representatives all have positive minds and involve themselves both within their campuses as well as outside of volunteer opportunities around the county. But these mindsets weren't just curated from nothing. It was brought forth from their schools, in many cases a home away from home. Most say that 7 hours in the same environment is stifling, but I would say otherwise. North Marion has provided a place for me to connect with others my age and see other perspectives I would have never dreamt of on my own. The teachers themselves put forward an atmosphere fitting of young adults looking for impactful futures. Take our global perspectives teacher, Ms. Brogan, for chance. Merely interacting with her sets many students' day forward, whether this be her praising a recent accomplishment or simply making small talk through how the day has been. No student feels left out. The teachers make campus home and the student's family. This atmosphere results in students more involving themselves in their environment, and Marion County is no exception to that. Daily interactions with faculty and similar have led me to strive for better, putting myself out of my own comfort zone and being rewarded for it. Allow me to say that the success that comes from these current students can be attributed to the countless teachers and administrators of MCPS that have served as the cornerstone for our limitless potential. Furthermore, the perseverance in our minds to make it through this stepping stone on our path, whether it be employment, enlistment, or enrollment, have been made much more possible by the dedication that you have for your students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.
Thank you, and we're going to come down in just a few minutes to take a picture, but what a great way to kick off the 2026-2027 school year student representatives. That was wonderful.
All right, but there's more because we're going to introduce each of them now and give them their nameplates, and then they know to sit and wait for a picture afterwards. So first off, Kayla Blakely, she introduced herself, a senior A student at North Marion High School with a 4.65 weighted GPA, athletics, student government organizations. She forgot to mention her volunteer work at the Humane Society of Marion County and the city of Ocala. She brings a well-rounded perspective and passion for representing the experience for all North Marion students.
Wonderful.
Next up is Abigail Emmerich. Abigail is a high-achieving A senior at Bellevue High School with a 4.8 weighted GPA, vice president of the BHS Book Club, an active ACE ambassador, and has held numerous leadership roles in FFA. As co-captain of the girls' weightlifting team, a volunteer with Fort McCoy Elementary and Interact Club projects, she exemplifies service and leadership. As a student board rep, she aims to highlight the many pathways that help students discover and achieve their goals. Catherine, or Kate Viverito, is a senior this year at South Marion High School. Her experiences in leadership, career preparation, and service has shaped her commitment for student advocacy. A longtime member of FFA and 4-H, she's served as a chapter officer, participating in the Marion County Teen Council, and earned industry certifications as well. Catherine's excited to share their perspectives and students attending Marion County's newest high school, South Marion. Michaela White. Michaela White is from Forest High School, and she serves on several different leadership and opportunity teams throughout her school. She hopes that she can be an advocate for the voice across Forest High School. Reese Cartwright. Reese is an IB senior at Vanguard High School with a 5.0 weighted GPA. Her leadership spans numerous organizations, including French Club, FBLA, Key Club, Model United Nations, Student Government, and the IB Ambassador Program. She's had service projects through the Public Education Foundation, Camp Kiwanis, Treehouse Ministries, and Dance Marathon. She hopes to bring informed, student-centered insight to board discussions to help advance opportunities. And we have Sophia Cruz Calderon. Sophia is a senior in the ACE program at Lake Weir High School with a 4.69 weighted GPA. She's the reporter for her school's HOSA chapter. She's combined her academic excellence with leadership and service, volunteering at churches, animal rescue organizations, youth camps, and school events, reflecting her dedication to helping others. She hopes to build connections among students and ensure their perspectives are heard and valued. Two of our student board representatives couldn't be here tonight, one for a volleyball game and one for oral surgery on the second day of school. Aubrey Smith from Denellen High School and Adesha Hernandez from Westport will be introduced at their upcoming board meetings. But this is your 2026-2027 student board reps.
Awesome. Well, thank you, ladies, for being here. Take a seat, and we are going to come down and take a picture with you in just a few minutes. Thank you, Ms. Connor. I think we have some recognitions too this evening, right, Dr. Brewer?
Yes, ma'am. So at this time, Mr. Whitehouse will come introduce our special guests, and we have members of the CEP with us as well.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Brewer. Good evening, Chair, board members. As you recall from our presentation in the spring, Marion County Public Schools partnered with the Chamber and Economic Partnership for a program called Classroom to Careers this summer. And I would like to welcome Ms. Beth McCall from the CEP to share the experiences from the summer and introduce our special recognition for this evening.
Good evening, Ms. McCall.
I think I actually get to start.
All right.
I know I'm not near as good as Beth McCall, as we all know. But my name is Matt McCormick, president of the CEP. Thank you for having us. Thank you for the partnership. I believe I got to speak to this body, I think, on like day 8.
Yes.
Whenever I started here, and I had that privilege. So what I spoke about then was something that holds true today and speaks to this, which is the belief that the community with the best schools win. And we got the opportunity to work on that and to partner together on a great program. And I want to say a big thank you to Dr. Brewer, to Dr. Whitehouse, to everybody that was involved with this for not only saying yes, but also wrapping their brains around this idea and then wrapping their arms around this idea of classrooms to careers. This is a two-pronged process, right? It's a talent development program. And it's something that we get the opportunity to work with not only our students, which is where a lot of talent development starts, right? We usually start with our students first. This is the first step where we actually start with our support structure first. And that's going to be our teachers and our counselors and our administrators, so that they know and they understand what it means to have a career in Ocala and Marion County and what exists out there and how to become a part of these careers. And so we had the opportunity to launch this brand new program with a lot of support from the school district. We had I'm going to try to get this right, we had every 8th grade history teacher, counselor, one counselor from each campus, and an administrator from each campus. Sorry, CTE teacher, thank you. CTE teacher. They went through this program and spent a week, not just learning about careers, but actually putting their hands in. It's immersive. It's not a sit and get. You're going to see a video here in a moment that we're so very proud of, and you're going to get to see our teachers and our counselors and our CTE professionals going through and actually understanding what it means to have a career in these jobs. And the great thing is this launches us into part 2, hopefully, which will happen next year, at the end of next year, next fall of 27, which is Worlds of Work, which is then where we do focus on our students. And our students get to have an immersive process into what does it mean to have a career here and what goes into that. It's a great program. We do want to say a big thank you to our title sponsor of this. We can't do these programs without our sponsors. We could not have put this on without our sponsors. But E1 stepped up and said yes. We went and sat down with E1 and said, we've got this idea, and we want you to be a part of it because manufacturing is a big part of what we do here. And they jumped on board right away and said yes. So our teachers and such got to spend a day in healthcare, spend a day in construction, manufacturing, and then equine and agriculture. Was that all the days? I think I got them all. Not construction. Manufacturing, sorry. Manufacturing. I'll get it right. We're working the next year's construction. We were already planning on next year. So they got to spend their time in these. We even had them all mucking stalls out at a horse farm. So it was a lot of fun. So with that, we've got a quick video that we want to show you. So we're going to launch this video, and then we're going to turn it over to Beth to go over a couple of the things, the outcomes that we've seen. And then the fun part is we get to present a check to one of our winning schools. So with that, can we roll the video?
Classroom to Careers was designed to get our middle school teachers involved.
We're gonna work on sound.
Classroom to Careers was designed to get our middle school teachers involved in really an immersion of industry sectors in our community. Classroom to Careers was designed to get our middle school teachers involved in really an immersion of industry sectors in our community. We chose manufacturing, healthcare, and agriculture equine for our first Classroom to Careers pilot. I'm so excited to say that our first Classroom to Careers was a tremendous success. Comments from the teachers and then the survey that they did said, yes, this was a hit out of the ballpark.
I didn't know it was so many careers. As a careers teacher, I've only been in the classroom for about 3 years now, but I just didn't know that it was so many different careers out there, even though we do a lot of research in school, but just to go outside of the classroom into the job places and see, hey, we have so many different careers. And so what I want to do is just let them know, hey, you have all kind of choices. There's so many jobs out there. There's so many opportunities, and I think that's where I'm going to start off from.
I think what I'll bring most to them is experiences with job areas that I hadn't previously considered. Having some experience now walking through some of these assembly lines or even in the hospital. The fact that the hospital is willing to help pay for degrees or for training, and you can just get your foot in the door, get to know people, those are opportunities that I wish I had known 20 years ago.
So this immersion was not a sit and get. This immersion was tours of facilities. This immersion was making little circuits at E1 like they put into the fire trucks, going up on the ladder truck as high as they could in the bucket. At healthcare, they got to go into the lab. They got to see how all of that worked. They got to hear from experts in all of these fields. Agricultural, equine. Everybody knows that agriculture and equine industry is a very big part of Marion County. But these teachers were immersed in what does that look like.
They were all wonderful. I was trying to think about that today. But I think my favorite part was going to E1 and seeing all the just diverse jobs that they have available, but also Cardinal Glass. I mean, we didn't even know that they were had so many employees and had such a wide variety of jobs that people could do.
And how Cardinal Glass and Pella, they kind of work side by side because it leaves Cardinal and goes to Pella, and the growth that they have, the tuition reimbursement that they offer. I didn't know some of that stuff, but that's another thing that students ask is, I don't think I can afford to go to college, but there's these places that do have those opportunities to grow.
It's so important because I have a lot of students that say, Miss Sweeting, I don't want to go to college. A lot of them say, well, I would rather just graduate, go on a job, or I have a lot to say that they like hands-on stuff.
I think a lot of it's about exposure. When you're growing up, you only know the jobs that you are exposed to. And so if you think about the manufacturing and you just think factory, maybe you're thinking back to, in high school class, one of your social studies showed you the I Love Lucy clip where they're in the chocolate factory and like, oh, that's what a factory is like. It's different than when you actually go to a factory where they are producing glass or making windows or making fire trucks, right? And for teachers, when they see it, they can then communicate to students, these types of opportunities exist. If you don't know they exist, you can't help guide students that direction or even present that as an opportunity.
After this 3-day total immersion, they came back together, and as their school teams, most of them had 3 per team, some had 2. They came up with a plan, which we call a pitch, on how are they going to implement this into their school. Now, our judges were judges from these industry sectors, and they had a hard time deciding what the winning was. But Lake Weir Middle School pitch was about interview skills and taking all of the students and doing practical interview skills with them, and that rang loud and clear with our judges. So Lake Weir Middle School won, and they got $2,000 for their school. I'm very excited about how this turned out. We will grow it next year. We will add more sectors to the program. We will add more teachers, possibly split and have 2 different Classroom to Careers going at the same time.
I think we do have that fundamental base of families that are born and raised here in generations, and giving them an opportunity to know that you don't have to do college. You can stay here and you can have a company pick you up and work with them, and know that they can stay here with their family and not have to move around.
One of our goals at the CEP should always be to concentrate on helping our workforce build that future pipeline. Am I on? I think that you can see that it was very well received. The surveys that were taken, 81% of our teachers rated it excellent. They had some very good ideas for next year. The pitch contest was amazing, and those interview skills really caught our judges. And at the CEP, we hear that a lot from our businesses, that they want kids coming out of school that know how to interview. So it was wonderful. We look forward to it next year as well. I need to thank Cardinal Glass, Pella Window, E1 for our Manufacturing Day, Advent Health for our Healthcare Day, and Stone Street Training Center and Vintage Farm for our Ag and Equine Day. They went out of their way to host us, and the teachers really learned. So before we do this check presentation, are there any questions from you?
Well, on behalf of the board, I'll say we're grateful for this partnership and giving opportunity for our teachers to learn beyond what happens in their classroom and learn how it can impact the community. What I wrote down was a saying that is from one of the nonprofits that works in this community that says exposure leads to access, which somebody mentioned in their interview. And so for many of our students, they just don't know what they don't know. And so our teachers getting a firsthand awareness of what's available in our community then allows them to show our students what's available and creates future opportunities. So
Outstanding. Excellent.
anyone else have anything to say right now? Or we'll save it for comments later? Okay.
Okay.
We're good.
So at this time, we would like to call up Lake Weir Middle School. Principal Brian Green and William Tenney and Joseph Bergman were actually two of the teachers. Star Scott could not be with us tonight, but we want to present them for their wonderful pitch on this process with a $2,000 check. So, come on up.
Awesome. Yes, well, we're grateful, and we're going to come down and shake your hands and everything, so if you'll hang out, we'll come down and take a picture with you all in just a minute. We just have one more proclamation to do, and then we'll hang out, but we're just grateful that you guys were willing to do it at the end of a long school year. You were willing to spend another week learning and growing. We are grateful for that. Yes. Yes, go ahead.
I do want to say, and we can't iterate enough, this doesn't happen and is not successful without Dr. Brewer saying yes from the beginning, but then our principals getting on board with this, and then getting everybody that you saw here on board with this. It's the only way it's successful. And so a big thank you from us, but a big thank you from our businesses. We've heard businesses that weren't even a part of this say, hey, what's this Classrooms to Careers? We're hearing about this. We want to be a part of this in the future. So thank y'all. From the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate y'all being on board with this and working that direction.
Absolutely, thank you. One other big round of applause. And then I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Christian, who has a presentation.
I'm going to introduce Mr. Whitehouse will come up before the proclamation.
Okay.
Thank you. Good evening again. We do have members of the Johnson family here. We'd like to ask them to come up as we read the proclamation, and we'll share this proclamation with them.
Ms. Conrad, can you hear? But Kevin has got mine. He's going to turn it on.
Good evening, everyone.
If you want to stand up there, yeah. We'll hear it better. Good evening to each of you. This proclamation reads,
Hold on, Kev. Hold on, Kev. You got something up behind you.
Maybe I should look behind. Are there more? Okay. This proclamation reads, whereas Lloyd W. Johnson Sr. devoted his life to serving the citizens of Marion County as a successful farmer, entrepreneur, craftsman, church leader, and community builder whose contributions helped strengthen North Central Florida. Whereas Lloyd W. Johnson Sr. achieved an historic milestone as one of North Marion County's first African-American school bus drivers and faithfully served Marion County students from 1944 to 1970, breaking barriers and paving the way for future generations through his professionalism, dedication, courage, and commitment to the safe transportation of students. Whereas through his service with student transportation, Lloyd W. Johnson Sr. provided a vital connection between students and educational opportunities, serving as a trusted role model and demonstrating the important role transportation professionals play in the success of public education. Whereas the pioneering contributions of Lloyd W. Johnson Sr. represent an important chapter in the history of Marion County Public Schools and reflect the values of perseverance, service, and excellence that continue to inspire students, employees, and community members today. And whereas the unveiling of an historical marker in honor of Lloyd W. Johnson Sr. provides an opportunity to recognize his lasting legacy and ensures future generations may honor his contributions to Marion County, the Evanston community, and Marion County Public Schools. Now therefore be it proclaimed, the School Board of Marion County, Florida hereby recognizes and honors the life, service, and historic contributions of Lloyd W. Johnson Sr. and commends his pioneering service as North Marion County's first African-American school bus driver whose dedication and leadership helped advance educational opportunities that even today continue impacting the history of Marion County Public Schools. Be it further proclaimed, the School Board of Marion County, Florida extends its appreciation to the Johnson family and holds those responsible for preserving and celebrating this important legacy through the dedication of the historical marker. It's dated this 11th day of August, 2026, and signed by each of our board members and our school superintendent. So congratulations to each of you. I'm certain our board and superintendent want to comment, so if you'll just rotate around and let them say their comments to you, please.
And we're going to come down and take a picture. We're grateful that you all are here, and we look forward to celebrating with you on Saturday as well and being a part of the celebration on Saturday. This is a monumental moment for your family as well as for us to be able to recognize the legacy. So we're incredibly grateful. Big round of applause. Yes, we're so grateful. Dr. Brewer, did you have anything you wanted to say?
Yes, I want to thank Mr. Stan Jacobs, Mr. Whitehouse, and Alana Martinez-Young. This week and the last couple of weeks have been exciting, digging into the archives and the employment files for verification. So I want to thank the three of them for the work to lead us to today. And I look forward to coming on Saturday to the unveiling of the road. So I will be there with you on Saturday.
Wonderful. Well, stay right there. We're going to come take a picture.
Board members, would you mind?
Oh, boy.
All right. Well, that was an exciting kickoff to the meeting. I want to start with some recognitions of donations. We have $2,000 to Lake Weir Middle School from the Ocala Metro Chamber and Economic Partnership to be utilized to help with the implementation of other possible CTE activities, as we saw just a few minutes ago. And $10,010 to Mental Health and Wellness from the Community Foundation of Ocala, Marion County, to be used to provide clothing, shoes, school supplies, hygiene items, holiday gifts, graduation support, and other resources for homeless and needy students and families.
Thank you, Chair. I recommend approval of the agenda for the August 11th, 2026 school board meeting.
May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Reverend Cummings and a second by Board Member Conrad on the superintendent's recommendation. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. We will move into the business portion of the meeting. Ms. Martinez-Young, can you please provide the proof of publication for tonight's meeting?
The notice for the August 11th, 2026 school board meeting was placed on the district website on August 4th, 2026. Proof of notification has been placed under proof of publication in board docs.
Thank you, and welcome to this evening's meeting. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the July 9th, 2026 administrative briefing and work session?
So move.
Second.
A motion by Board Member Cummings and a second by Board Member Thrower. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the July 14th, 2026 school board meeting?
Motion to approve. Second.
A motion by Board Member Conrad and a second by Dr. Campbell. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Bear with me, I have a whole lot to read now. We have a decent amount of information-only items this evening. So the school district uses a construction management delivery method, including a guaranteed maximum price, GMP, to perform construction work on projects. The superintendent or designee has signed and approved the following change orders. Per Board Policy 6345, the superintendent or designee is authorized to approve and execute any construction change order that will increase the construction contract by $25,000 or less, or that will decrease the construction contract amount, provided the approval shall be in his or her judgment in the best interest of the board. Such change orders shall be binding upon execution by the superintendent. The superintendent shall report each change order that he or she approved to the board at the board meeting that follows his or her approval. The superintendent's approval of the change orders will be entered into the official minutes of the board meeting. We'll begin with deductive change orders. There was a reconciliation made to the following project, resulting in a reduction of overall project costs. Item 9.1, Amendment number 1 to the construction manager contract, guaranteed maximum price, GMP, for labor and materials related to construction of new 16 classroom addition at Liberty Middle School, change order number 6, amendment number 1, project 24-103. Deductive change order is $24,016.79. There were unused funds on the following projects, and since these projects were delivered using a construction management delivery with a GMP format, unused dollars, regardless of the item, are returned to the owner. The unspent monies will be returned to the owner via change orders, which will close the financial books on these projects. 9.2, Amendment number 1 to the construction manager contract, guaranteed maximum price, GMP, for labor and materials related to the construction of the new 16 classroom addition at Liberty Middle School, change order number 7, amendment number 1, project 24-103. Deductive change order is $17,672.31. Item 9.3, downspout washouts at Central Warehouse, change order number 1, work authorization number 1, project 20-102. Deductive change order is $7,627.25. Item 9.4, guaranteed maximum price, GMP, for the Fort McCoy School well site replacement, change order number 4, work authorization number 1, project 25-104. Deductive change order of $45,394.14. Item 9.5, guaranteed maximum price, GMP, for the Horizon Academy at Marion Oaks security fencing, change order number 1, work authorization number 2, project 23-131. Deductive change order is $37,542.61. And 9.6, for information purposes, the district will schedule a public hearing for the September 8th, 2026 school board meeting for the purposes of approving revised board policy 7250, commemoration of school facilities. Moving on to item 10.1, Ms. Martinez-Young, do we have any speakers this evening?
Yes, Madam Chair, we have 11 speakers.
Okay, board with 11 speakers. Based on board policy, that will be 2 minutes per speaker. Ms. Martinez-Young, thank you for that. And Attorney Powers, would you be able to read the rules governing persons who wish to address the school board this evening?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely, thank you. In compliance with Section 286.0114 of Florida statutes, the school board has adopted uniform procedures for public speakers who wish to speak at this evening's meeting, either regarding one of today's agenda items or a matter related to the operations of the school district. These procedures will ensure the public has a reasonable opportunity to be heard on school board and school district matters. A written summary of these procedures is available from the table in the lobby. Public speaker forms are also located on the same table. The completed forms were due to the school board's clerk no later than 5:40 p.m. This evening's agenda item speakers will be called prior to the business portion of the school board's meeting in the order received by the school board clerk. For items not listed on the agenda, speakers will be called at the end of the business meeting. Before you begin speaking, please state your full name for the record and spell your last name. Each speaker will have 2 minutes. When the speaker has 1 minute remaining, the speaker will receive a visual notice right here to complete his or her comments. Speakers may not yield their time to other people. Speakers and meeting attendees are expected to conduct themselves in a respectful manner. Therefore, verbal attacks and profanity are strictly prohibited. The board is here to listen to your comments only. You may be directed to an administrative staff member following the conclusion of your comments for further assistance to address your concerns. If there are matters dealing with student discipline, including expulsions, those will be scheduled at the conclusion of the televised portion of this meeting. Parents may address the board regarding a disciplinary matter at that time. To ensure student privacy, only a parent or guardian may use a student's first or last name. Identifying references to other students is also prohibited. Speaker's speech does not reflect endorsement, sponsorship, position, or expression of the school district. Thank you for your attention to the board's requirements. And Madam Chair, that concludes my explanatory remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Powers. And just to confirm, Ms. Martinez-Young, all 11 are for attached to an agenda item?
That is correct.
Okay, wonderful. Well, we will, Ms. Martinez-Young will call the speakers in the order that they were presented. And so please listen for your name and you'll have 2 minutes.
Sheila Ann Shield.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Will you pull the mic down for me? Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Shelly Ann Scheel, S-C-H-E-E-L. 6 years ago, I walked in to Waimea Park, brand new to teaching and brand new to Florida. At that time, Waimea was just like any other school I had been in. Kids came in, they learned, and they left. Today, however, when I walk into Waimea each day, I walk into a place that is vastly different. Waimea is not just a building where students learn each day. It is a home. It is a safe space. It is a place where they feel seen and cared for. It is a place where students take chances and try new things because they feel safe and supported. It is a place where students know they are loved by all who work there. I am the daughter, granddaughter, and great-granddaughter of 3 generations of teachers. I grew up in public schools. Waimea is unlike any school that I have ever experienced. I am also the parent of 3 students that have all loved Waimea, and I could not imagine them going anywhere else. Each day, our teachers, admin, and staff not only work to educate the students, but we also do everything we can to ensure that our students feel safe and cared and loved for. Each time Waimea is visited by the district, state staff and visitors consistently comment on how you can feel the care and passion the staff has for our students. Our school is a low-income school. Many kids who go to Waimea suffer from economic and domestic impacts that are not prevalent in other schools. Our admin staff stay for hours long each night because they choose to spend their contract time each day in the classrooms and everywhere on campus.
10 seconds.
Staff at Wyomina work hard to ensure that students are fed, clean, and clothed. Some even go so far as to take their free time to teach older students how to read recipes and cook because they know that the student is the one responsible for feeding their family.
Your time has expired.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keith Gilchrist.
Good evening. How you doing? Good. Please make sure you just talk close to the mic.
My name is Keith Gilchrist, last name Gilchr.
Can't hear you.
You'll just have to talk up a little bit.
You're gonna
It's
have
just
to
harder
speak
for us.
up and get close to that mic. It needs to be like
All right.
6 inches from you.
Keith Gilchrist,
There you go.
Gilchrist.
Okay.
My two boys attend Wyomina Park, and this year I was blessed the opportunity to join the staff as a physical education teacher. When I walk through the school, I don't just see it as a school. I see the children. I see the teachers who care. I see the families who believe in their children, and I see a school who's working hard to become better. Wyomina Park has 3 principles that we teach our students every day. Do your best, do what's right, treat others better than you want to be treated. Tonight, I ask that we apply those same principles to the future of Wyomina Park. Do your best. Our students and staff have been doing exactly that. Wyomina Park went from a D to a C. That may just be a letter on a report, but to the people who worked hard for it, it represents progress, perseverance, and hope. When a school is improving, I believe the question shouldn't be, why keep trying? It should be, how can we keep them moving forward and getting better? Do what's right. I understand the board has difficult decisions to make. There are enrollment numbers, budgets, facilities, transportations, and many other factors that to be considered. But behind every number is a child. Behind every number is a family. And behind every number is a teacher or staff member who has dedicated themselves to these students. I respectfully ask that you consider Wyomina Park progress, potential, and the people who make it the school special. And finally, treat others the way you want it to be treated. If this were your child, wouldn't you want someone to fight for their school? Wouldn't you want someone to recognize their progress? Wouldn't you want them to be given every reasonable opportunity to succeed? That is all we are asking tonight. Don't ignore the challenges, help us overcome them. Give our students the opportunity to keep climbing, give our teachers the opportunity to keep building, and give Wyomina Park the opportunity to show what it can become. Because
Thank you. Time
Wyomina
has
Park
expired.
isn't just a building, it's our children,
Your
it's
time
our
has
family,
expired.
it's our teachers, and it's our community. Thank you.
Sarah Lynn Raymond.
And Attorney Powers is going to give a 30-second warning, just so you know that your time is coming up, okay? Good evening.
Hi, my name is Sarah Raymond, Raymond. I'd like to start by saying that this meeting's existence is like the antithesis of what we teach our children.
Can't hear her. I can't.
Okay. This meeting's existence is the antithesis of what we teach our children. You made a decision to rid the county of an educational landmark, and you thought that it would be easier to ask forgiveness instead of permission, and you were wrong. Schools such as Reddick and Spar were given the opportunity to decide the fate of their schools, something we were purposefully denied. My front door is 2 blocks from Wyomina's front door. We can see the crossing guard from where we live. My son attended Wyomina Park VPK through 5th grade. We now have twins, and we fully intended on them following that same educational path. During COVID, during all of any of those red alarms, whatever, we had so much support. Those are terrifying things to see as a parent. It's terrifying to think that your child's walking to school and maybe nobody's looking for them. But I can see that, I can feel that love from that school. During COVID, we had meal support. The teachers called and checked on us. That's something I've never seen before from any other school. My friends don't say anything like that about the schools that their kids were at. I just ask that instead of taking away this educational landmark, that you seriously consider the impact that it will have on our children and their education. Thank you.
Thank you.
Danielle Goodwin, excuse me.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Danielle Goodwin. My last name is Goodwin, Goodwin. Can you hear me completely fine?
Just lean right into the mic. Thank you. That's perfect.
Okay. So Wyoming Park starts with 3 B's. That's how they're greeted every morning. 3 B's are being respectful, being responsible, and being safe. Those are the 3 B's. Wyoming is a very communicable school. If the parent can't see the child walking from the home, there's still community advocates, as myself, around the neighborhood that looks out for all of these low-income school children. I want to preach or speak upon the max capacity on the 2 schools other than Wyoming. There is Wyoming in the middle. You have H Street up at the top, and you have Shady Hill down at the bottom. Wyoming is in the middle. Those 2 other schools are at their max capacity. H Street is over 104% max capacity, and then Shady Hill is about 96% max capacity. These teachers that I see every day that I bring my 3 daughters to, every day. My daughter is 10 years old. She's been in the school since she was in kindergarten. I have a new kindergarten in the school, and I have a 2nd grader.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
This school is the community. We have faith in this school, and it still needs to be there, like it has been there since 1940. So I thank you for your time and the community that it does bring. Because if one mom is not watching another mom is watching another. And when the teachers are done for the day, the mothers and the parents step in to help with the community. And that's what this Wyoming Elementary School is. God bless.
Karen Thurman.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Karen Thurman. It's Thurman. I am a former school teacher in Marion County. I am a former legislator and a former congresswoman. I have been spending my time over the last several weeks and months and years at Wyoming to support them. But I'm going to talk from a specific part of what I think transparency is. I looked up in March of this year, you all held 3 meetings with SPAR, Reddick, and whatever other one. And you had a chance, that community had a chance to speak. You all don't understand. I know some of you have been to Berkeley. Some of you have even said, I don't even know how this is. I didn't even know this would be where kids are taught. These kids go to school with no food. They have a pantry at the school to make sure the teachers are out there. They have clothing. They have everything. But the issue really is the ability for people in this community to readdress their government. When you have a meeting at 9:45, and that's the first time you hear about it, and tonight, the only reason we knew was because somebody came by the school and said they're having a meeting tonight. So I think you should table this. I'm asking for a specific recommendation. You should table this. You should have some hearings. You should listen to these parents and what it means to their community. And if you can't do that, then you probably ought not to be sitting here making decisions about things you don't know. Thank you.
Carol Colbert.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Carol Colbert, Colbert. I'm here today on behalf of not just my daughter, Imani White, my son Willard James, Jaleesa White, and Darian James. They all went to Wamita Park. I lived in Spring Mountain for 13 years, and I walked many a days to Wamita Park to get my children to and from school, as well as getting them on the bus. And I must say that Wamita Park has been not only a home and a place for my kids to go and be safe, but it's created an education for them to go to school to become more than what they can ever be. My son, he went to North Carolina and got a career as a Marine, and my sons right now are going to school, to aviation school, working on planes. They're fixing on engines. My son right now is working at the Ocala Airport, working on engines. Imani White went to college, Central Florida Community CFCC, and got an AA degree in college. She also went to FAMU, was going to become a lawyer, but she decided to become a school teacher so that she can teach the children, preach one, teach one. My daughter Jaleesa was a chef. She was working at the chef department, and she decided to become a post.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
I understand. But God's love, look at yourselves and understand that we all are a community, and we need to come together and make sure that the kids, because they are the reason for our future. So please take it in consideration, God's love, and do all you can for the kids, because we do need to be together. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you.
Larika White.
Hello.
Good evening.
My name is Imani White, White. Have you ever had the rug pulled out from under your feet? That is exactly how I felt on July 20th when we learned that Wamita Park could be closing. How do we tell our students, the children who call our names, give us hugs, and look for us throughout the day? These aren't just students on our roster. They are our children. And this fight is deeply personal for me because I am not only a teacher at Wamita Park, I am a former Wamita Park student. I once walked those same hallways, I once sat in those classrooms, and now I have the honor of coming back as a teacher to serve the community that helped shape me. So when I hear that Wamita Park may close, I don't just hear that a building is closing. I hear that a piece of my childhood and a piece of our community is being taken away. Wamita Park is more than a school. It is a relationship. It is belonging. It is a place where our children are known, loved, and supported. Our community has faced hardships from every direction and still rose from concrete. Please listen to our families, listen to our teachers, listen to our former students, but most importantly, listen to our children. They may not understand numbers or statistics, but they understand one thing: Wamita Park is home. I know what this school gave me. Please give our children the opportunity to experience the same love, belonging, and hope. Save Wamita Park. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lorraine Fuller.
Good evening.
Hi, my name's Lorraine Fuller, Fuller. I've been a teacher at Wamita Park. I'm starting my 26th year. Last February, February 24th, the school board approved our year-round calendar for 2 years, this year and next year. Just last month, we got a new pre-K playground, which my children benefit from immensely. Many of you, along with Superintendent Brewer, visited our campus for our back-to-school bash, and you witnessed the excitement, the energy, the love, the community that we have at Wamita Park. And yet, We're here listening and finding out that our school might be closing and our students rezoned so that an alternative school, Bridgeway, may move on our campus. I think it was July 20th, she said. The Thursday, we were all excited. We had a faculty meeting, and Mrs. Hunt comes in, our principal comes in and says, the school board's having a meeting to discuss possibly closing Waimea Park, 2 days before our back-to-school bash. So anyways, unlike other schools in Marion County, Madison Street, Spar, the northern schools, we didn't have a town hall meeting. We didn't hear about the plan for our school, our students, teachers, staff. We only heard that Waimea Park may be closing, and what's the plan? We are truly a neighborhood school with walkers and bike riders nestled in a lovely neighborhood. We have a special relationship with our students and families, and as it's been said, we have a clothing closet, we hand out detergent, we go and play games with our neighborhood families. Waimea Park was built in 1949. It's a historic pre-K through 5th grade, and it is more than a school. It is a community, and we are a family. Thank you.
Liberty Thurman.
Good evening.
My name is Liberty Thurman, Thurman, and I've had the privilege of working at Waimea Park Elementary for 23 years. And in those 23 years, I have seen the good, the bad, and everything in between. I have seen challenges that have tested us, but I have also seen resilience, determination, and a school community that refuses to give up on our students. That is why I'm here tonight to ask you, please do not close Waimea Park Elementary. For years, our school has faced obstacles. We know our struggles better than anyone, but what concerns me the most is a proposal that it comes at a time when we are finally seeing real measurable progress. We are not a school in decline, we are a school on the rise. Our attendance rates have improved so significantly that we have received the award for most improved chronic absenteeism attendance in the district. That did not happen by accident, it happened because our staff worked tirelessly to connect with families, remove barriers, and to help students understand the importance of being in school every day. We have also implemented strategies to reduce student referrals and improve school culture. The results have been remarkable. We are currently in our 4th week of school, and this year we have only had 8 referrals. Last year at the same point we had 28 referrals. This year before that we had 17 referrals, and before that by the end of the 3rd week, by the 3rd week of school we had 56 referrals. Those numbers tell a story. They tell us that the systems we have put into place are working. They tell us that the students are responding positively. They tell us that good things are happening at Waimea Park Elementary. We are not asking for special treatment. We are simply asking for a chance to survive long enough to see the fruit of our work that has already taken place. If the year-round school model is not producing the results you hope for, then have that conversation. Cancel year-round education if necessary, but please do not punish a school community that is making progress by closing our doors. I also want to speak on behalf of our teachers and staff. This is frustrating and concerned because many of their questions remain unanswered. Their lives, careers, and families are being impacted by the decisions that feels rushed and incomplete. So tonight I'm asking that this discussion be tabled until staff and families have the questions answered, until the board has adequate time to fully consider the long-term impact of this decision. A school is more than a building. It is more than enrollment numbers and budget lines. It's a relationships, tradition, stability, and hope. Waimea Park Elementary is a
time
place
has
where children
expired.
are loved. Thank you for your time.
Ethan Sapp.
Good evening.
Hey, good evening. My name is Ethan Sapp, SAPP. Thank you, School Board, and thank you, Superintendent Dr. Brewer, for letting us speak. Waimea, as far as I know, was established in 1949. It's more than a building. It has spirit. Our students are warriors with warrior spirit. I've heard Ms. Hunt say that we're one tribe and we have one vibe. Under our steadfast leadership of Ms. Hunt and Ms. Brower, our school has definitely shown great improvement and risen. And I've been there for, I believe, 8 years. And the growth I've seen in all areas is just out of this world. at the end of every day, Ms. Hunt tells our kids that if no one's told you, she'll tell them that she loves them. And all of us do here at Wymena, and she's telling the truth every day when she says that. We got a lot of intangibles there at the school, and I think two of them are love and security. And our school's turned the corner, simply put. This decision could have unintended consequences, to the mental health, the social well-being of our children. I'd like to bring attention to the work done with the community that they've spoken to earlier about feeding, clothing, the visits they do on the weekend, the teachers here do on their own time. And I'd like to borrow from the student that spoke earlier. Wymena, as she said, is home sweet home. It's a home away from home. Excuse me, she said it was a home away from home. We appreciate your mission statement, which includes putting students first. I believe keeping Wymena in its current state falls in step with the direction of the respected board. We teach writing at the school, we teach reading, and we teach that stories involve problems and solutions. And we try and wrap it up with a good ending. And I think this story here, well, I know the story here is a children's story, so a happy ending would be fitting. And we just appreciate your time and hope you'll consider deciding in our favor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stephanie Isaac.
Can you hear me? Okay, my name is Stephanie Isaac. Last name is spelled I-S-A-A-C. Wymena serves more than 80% of students that are economically disadvantaged. The needs are vast, from academics to social. Some just appreciate being seen. The government shutdown is one example that's served as a testament to where the school stood with the community. If you only knew how staff and donors stood to make sure families were fed and children didn't go hungry. As we all know, your decision has consequences. This decision will have ripple effects, the ones that affect the community at a much larger capacity than you can currently see. Did you really care to take into account the economic impact of this relocation of the families affected? You may see one school, but I see community impact and child development. What do you see? Think and serve accordingly. You all are going to stand in front of the Creator one day, and He's going to ask you, did you truly serve the people? That is the true legacy of success. The end.
Thank you.
That concludes all speakers.
Okay, thank you. Well, on behalf of the board, I want to thank you all for taking your time and energy to come out this evening, and we'll be discussing this item a little later in the agenda. But I wanted to acknowledge your participation tonight in our meeting, so thank you for being here. We're going to move into our consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
So move.
Second. A motion by Board Member Cummings and a second by Board Member Conrad. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Moving on to student disciplinary matters, expulsions, and agreements. May I have a motion to approve the expulsion of student JD 26-131 and JD 26-132 with services for the remainder of the 2025-2026 school year and the first, second, and third quarters of the 2026-2027 school year.
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion by Board Member Conrad and a second by Board Member Campbell. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Moving on to discussion regular agenda items. D 19.1, may I have a motion to approve the future focused operations plan?
Motion to approve.
A motion by Board Member Conrad.
Second for the purpose of discussion.
Second by Dr. Campbell. Dr. Brewer, would you like to provide some information?
Yes, ma'am. This plan addresses aging infrastructure, deferred maintenance, enrollment shifts, operational efficiencies, and educational opportunities through a phased approach to facility replacement, modernization, consolidation, and program expansion. As you're aware, we've had 7 work session discussions concerning these items starting back on October 16, 2025. So we're available if you have any questions at this point.
Thank you, Dr. Brewer. Board, any comments, questions, or discussion on this item? Dr. Campbell.
Thank you. I will start the discussion, and I certainly would love to hear from my peers on the board here. So Dr. Brewer and I have already had this conversation because I certainly believe that it's not going to be shocking whenever a board member comes with a vote that's going to be opposed to what the superintendent is proposing. So there's a lot of things about this future focused plan that I appreciate, and a lot of things that we were able to negotiate through the conversation we've had previously, inclusive of Bellevue High School turf field being moved up and some other things like that, having the asterisks saying, okay, this is contingent on actually having funding. So there's a lot of things that we were able to work out and negotiate. But board yesterday, so here's the unique position that I am in. So the proposal as it stands right now would rezone students from Wyomina Park Elementary for the purpose of Bridgeway Academy to move on to that campus. As we now have gone back to our original assignments, those are two schools that I represent in District 1. So I had the opportunity yesterday to be on both campuses. And watching myself in the cafeteria see a student ask Ms. Hunt, is my school going away next year? Honestly, I was just about brought to tears myself. And it was the first time I had the opportunity to see that. And she said it happens all the time, every day. And that the staff, this is Allison speaking now, I don't see the fairness by any stretch of the imagination that the second day of school for the traditional school year, we know they've been in school since July, but for the traditional school year, the second day of school, for us to be voting on something that essentially will have a black cloud over a school for the entire school year. I do not see that being fair. I can't even fathom what that looks like or the turmoil that has put this group under. A couple of other thoughts on that. I also had conversation with Mr. Jones because I understand Bridgeway needs a home. So this is one of those catchy things as the board member that represents both locations. I completely understand that they need a home that looks different than what their current situation is. However, if we move them onto the campus that is Wyomina Park Elementary, the underutilization of the campus is one of the excuses or reasons that we're using to justify the move, to combine Wyomina and Oakcrest together because Wyomina is underutilized. At no time has Bridgeway come anywhere near the 400 plus students that Wyomina Park has right now, ever. And so if we think underutilization is part of the argument, I think it's negated because Bridgeway, on its highest enrollment, probably has about 350 students. So that argument kind of has to be taken off the table. My opinion, and still where I stand, is that because we know that Bellevue Elementary new school will be built this entire year, and we are combining Bellevue Santos and Bellevue Elementary together, we know that. I personally believe that this full year needs to be a part of getting all of that rezoned, and both of those student bodies go to Lake Weir Middle School next year, and they're already together, it's already a combo school, and then they go together to their new site at Bellevue Elementary, which then will free up the Bellevue Santos location and would give Bridgeway a home in that spot. That's where
Please, let's withhold any applause or anything like that. We let it go a little bit while there was public speaking, but not while board members are speaking, okay?
Thank you. So at this point, I mean, certainly there's another argument to be made if we want to move it to North Side. We're having conversation about what that combo would look like as well. But we already know, it's already on the plan, that those two schools will be combined and it would free up a campus for Bridgeway and still move forward with the rest of this plan. But as it stands, that one item of Wyomina Park being rezoned to Oakcrest Elementary and moving Bridgeway to that campus, I am unable to vote for this as it stands this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Campbell, for your thoughts. Does anyone else have thoughts they'd like to share?
I'll go.
Okay.
I'm in support of the plan. Since I've been on the board, we've been having district discussions about making sure our campuses are at capacity. And this conversation is important because if you're watching the news or reading the newspaper, you're also hearing about teachers needing raises. You're also hearing about an increase in insurance. All of these conversations are connected. You can't have one conversation, make one decision, and it not affect the entire system. And so I say that, and I'll say what I say every time we're talking about a change in facilities is, even when I personally feel change is good or it's the right decision, it's not easy, it's uncomfortable, but our community has changed. When you drive around town, you can see how our community has grown and how it has changed. My mother-in-law retired from teaching at Wyomina Park School. My husband went to Wyomina Park School. I have an attachment to that school. I visit your school and I see the great work, not just when I'm there in person, but I see it online, your team. And I know that most of this board is a teeny tiny part of the work that you do at your school because we believe in it. The difference is I don't believe that that work is limited to that building. When I look out here and I see red and black shirts and I meet people at your school, I meet them on campus, you are the change. The people in the audience right here and on your school campus, you all are what have the positive effect on those children. The building is historic, but you make the change in the lives of the students that you interact with every day. And I see that great work following you to the next campus as you take the pantry and the clothing closet and the visits home, all of those things travel with you to your campus at Oakcrest, what you're assigned to. So I say that all to say I'm in support of this program, of this facility move, of this facility plan, knowing that it's hard, that it's difficult, and that that space is what you consider home. And so I hope that you'll be open-minded. You'll see this is one of many changes that need to be made so that we can move this district into a forward focus so we can continue to do great things, because not only is your school improving, but we had many schools that are improving. And so this is one piece of that huge puzzle. So thank you, Chair. That's all I have.
Thank you, Board Member Conrad. Is there anything else from the board?
Gentlemen first.
Ladies always first.
I tried. All right. I'm thinking about the changes that I've witnessed in this community in a very short amount of time, after a very long amount of time. And it has put us in a position as a board to have to do things that this community is not used to. There's a lot of other counties that have been growing fast for a long time now, and they're used to yearly rezoning and building schools and then rezoning again the next year, and everything seems to be in constant movement. Well, we're not used to that. And because we're not used to that, and because it's new, and because change is hard, it becomes our task as a board, and along with our superintendent, to make those adjustments ourselves, because it's new, it's even more new to the community. You know, we have these conversations, it's on the daily, we talk about different things, it's our work. But I understand how the community and the schools, feels blindsided on this one. And I think that we had a similar situation, with the North End conversation. It wasn't until we backed up and woed and had the community meetings and really shared what was going on that we started to get some good feedback and landed on a plan that seems to cover the bases as best as possible after people truly feeling that they were being heard. I like the idea of thinking about the Bellevue location. I don't know or have enough information yet about that particular viability, but it sounds like the board member that represents the two schools has had some conversation already in advance of this. The timing, I agree, it's pretty harsh. Coming off of the feeling of success of raising a letter grade to have this shared, it's harsh. As we continue to move into this season of great change in our community, and therefore great change that has to occur in our school district, I think that we just really need to focus on the communication piece and being more community-minded. Again, they don't live this stuff every day. So we feel like, we've done this, we've talked about it 5 times, but it really hasn't filtered down. And so that's some of my concern. The other piece of my concern is that, Oakcrest is in play here, and another proud school with great traditions that has struggled mightily for a long time like you guys. So to just when they've, pulled it out of the bag and are getting some good momentum, we're talking probably 800 or 900 students here. That's a big shift. So I guess there's a couple things that I want to put on there for the rest of the board to consider as we begin to talk about taking this vote. One thing I'm proud of is that the district really has given the year-round, the year-round schedule, that's just what we call it, a good try. But it's carried its own challenges with attendance for sure. When you have larger families and all the other kids are not on the same calendar, it affects attendance, it affects, when school starts, how many kids show up. It's kind of confusing. And it was designed to be a pilot program. We were the only ones in the state that were selected. And I think we're the only one in the state that's still doing it. Is that correct, Dr. Brewer?
There's another school in Brevard County.
Okay, there's one more, Brevard County. So in terms of increasing the success of Wyomina and supporting the momentum that you guys have created in this historic space, I would like to hear more about opportunities that will help continue to accelerate that. Because the name of the game is we have to get our schools full enough to where they're not going to be targets for takeover and co-location and shared use and all of that. And some of that might be new information to citizens, but basically if a school stays underutilized for too long, now there's some state rules in place where a charter school can come in and co-locate the other half of your school and we have to pay for it. So there's some real conversations that I'm not sure that the community has had a chance to absorb. We know as a board that there's a lot of things that are really important to decide on and get done and move forward with. But if I'm reading the room correctly and hearing from the board member that represents this school that there may be some less impactful but still getting what needs to be done and accomplishing what needs to be done, I think it's worth a conversation. I also agree that we learned from the North End that once you get people's attention, they want to give feedback. And once it's on their radar, they want to talk about it. And they want to know why. And they need to understand some of the deeper details of the challenges that we face up here as we try to make these decisions. And then also get some input and feedback from the folks that's affecting the most. Because that really makes a big difference and can help us adjust what has to be inevitable. And I'm thinking of channeling Mr. Whitehouse here, is that change is inevitable. It is here. We are not sleepy, slow Cala anymore, you know, whether we like it or not. And I'm one of the ones sitting up here that doesn't like it. but we have to confront reality. So I would not be opposed to tabling this conversation for tonight, tabling the vote, giving the community a chance to weigh in with a community, you know, meeting, a morning one, an evening one, however it gets designed. I think those, we all know they were very well received. And the viability, after speaking with the principals of Bridgeway and Wyomina, of what can be done to continue, if Wyomina is gonna stay, what can be done to accelerate the success, and whether or not the Santos location really is viable for Bridgeway, which draws from all over the county. And also, you know, should we really continue with the year-round program? Another thing that comes to mind is that our busing is only halfway paid for from the state. So we need to make sure that every student that rides a bus is actually part of the allocation that we receive. And we really wanted and continue to want Wyomina to be successful if it's going to stay open. And that means the kids have, you know, they've just got to come to school on time every day. And it's a partnership. And we need to continue to grow, support, and accelerate the success if that's where this ends up landing. So I'll stop my comments with that. I wanted to give some depth and texture to the conversation. I hope that I have accomplished that, and I hope that everyone here has felt heard. That concludes my feedback.
Thank you, Board Member Thrower.
So, let me start by saying it's not always what you do, but it's how you do it. One of the biggest concerns that I've had concerning Wyomina Park and this plan has been communication to the community, conversations with the community, that we got stakeholder input. That was been one of my biggest sticking points, that the community has to have conversations. We have to have those communications with the stakeholders, the parents, the teachers, even the students and the businesses in that area. That has been one of my biggest sticking points. Having some personal relationships with Wyomina Park. I have my youngest son attended Wyomina Park, and my granddaughter attended Wyomina Park. Both have graduated from high school now. So there are some connections to Wyomina Park. We've heard, and let me say this, thank you to all of you that thought it not robbery to come out and speak tonight about your concerns. We want to hear your concerns. I think we need to hear your concerns. And I think Board Member Campbell has presented another option. I think hearing that, we need to have those conversations. Before I could ever give a vote on any of this, we would have to hear what the parents are saying. So I'm definitely in favor of tabling this until we can get community input. And then once we have that community input, we have to realize that we still have to make some tough decisions with rezoning, with we can have all the community input and it still turn out to be the same thing. But at least you had the opportunity, and we had the opportunity to try to discuss other options and other possibilities. Just because we have these conversations doesn't mean that we're going one way or the other. But I do believe that your voice needs to be heard more so than in a meeting like this. This doesn't solve the problem. So, and I think I've already shared with with the board clerk that I would have been recusing myself anyway tonight from this vote due to certain things. So, you heard what I've had to say. That's where I'm at.
Thank you all for sharing. I want to provide a little bit of context and offer a suggestion. And so this plan in Waimea Park, which it's a three-way connection. It's a Fordham expansion, Waimea Park, moving to now live at Oakcrest, and Bridgeway. So it's a three-part solution, is one component of a very large operational plan that's before us. And those three pieces are interconnected. And so I would like to offer to the board that we offer an amended motion to eliminate those three components for the purposes of tonight's vote and move forward with a vote on this plan as presented without those three components. There is an extreme amount of anticipation in other parts of our community waiting for us to formally cross over so that they can start moving forward in their planning as a community, not just in the North End. And so there has been a lot of angst and anticipation leading into, they're ready to move forward. As Board Member Thrower even shared, you know, we've had those conversations, which is why they aren't here tonight, right? And so they are anxiously awaiting us to make this decision so that they can, Spar Baptist Church is one of them, is ready to lead the charge in the communication between all three schools and having those community conversations. So I hear from at least 2 or 3 board members that there is barriers with the Waimea Park, Bridgeway, and Fordham connection. And so I would offer that we offer an amended.
Oakcrest, not Fordham.
Well, yes, Oakcrest is absorbing students, yes, but I meant the people who are affecting the move the most, so I apologize. But when we look at the plan as presented in the 26-27 school year, we have the plan Waimea Park rezoning and middle school balancing. So I would offer we strike the plan Waimea Park rezoning, and I would offer that in the 27-28 we strike the third bullet, which is complete Waimea Park rezoning and relocate Bridgeway, and then expand Fordham to include a 3-5 magnet program for the purposes of tonight's vote, so that we can get this forward-focused plan across the finish line for the hundreds of families that are anxiously awaiting us to make that decision. And then in a immediate future, we begin and revisit this, because typically rezoning conversations would have already occurred ahead of next school year. And so to make our families as timely aware as possible, if the district were going to entertain other options, as one board member presented this evening, we need to provide the community as much time as possible to prepare for that rezoning. And so I would like, if we were to move forward tonight, that we then have very timely conversations with the community about all of it.
Madam Chair, I just have one more thing I need to state on this, because I wanted to be very clear that this decision or these us saying or this recommendation to close Waimea Park, I don't want the community to think, because I kind of heard it a little bit, that they're only doing this to move Bridgeway over there. That's not the case. That has not been the case. Waimea was not considered just because of Bridgeway. Bridgeway needed a place, and that was just a outcome that came out of the talks. But it wasn't. I don't want anybody to think that it's just because of Bridgeway that Waimea Park is being considered.
Thank you, Reverend Cummings. So board, I would look for feedback on the recommendation I offered. Dr. Campbell?
Chair, I appreciate the recommendation. Honestly, I believe that the bullet that you referenced about Waimea Park in 2026, as well as the 2027, 2028 school years, I agree completely with taking those out. However, while the comment was made that they are related to the Fordham expansion, I would dare say that Fordham expansion needs to occur regardless of what the conversation is about Waimea Park. We have to have a magnet location for the Fordham families to go. And so I'm content with leaving that as an option there still.
Well, respectfully, there's nowhere for them to go, though. So Fordham is landlocked, and unless the district office comes, this is why they're all connected, unless the district office comes off of Fordham's campus, there is no place for Fordham to expand into. And so that's why it is a three-part conversation. It's impossible. Am I wrong, Dr. Brewer?
That is correct. We have our mental health and wellness staff members on the Fordham campus at this time.
So.
Fine.
I have a clarifying question, which we're a little past in this conversation. Since we did have 7 work sessions discussing facilities over the last, I don't know, year and a half, the district team, who many of are sitting here, spent a lot of time working out this plan. I'm interested, Dr. Brewer, if you're able to comment, or Mr. Whitehouse, if the solution that Dr. Campbell suggested was discussed or considered, and if so, what were the reasons? Because so much time has gone into putting this plan into place. And it wasn't just a flippant decision, like Reverend Cummings stated. We just didn't say, oh, let's move this school to do this. No, if we have 54 schools, we have 7,000 employees, we have 46,000 students. It is a major operation, and so I'd like to know if that was discussed and what were the reasonings, if possible.
Sure, I can begin, and then Mr. Whitehouse can add. One consideration with the Bellevue Santos property, and the reason we are moving students off of that campus to the Bellevue Elementary site, would be the millions of dollars that is needed to build the walls and doors on that site. Another important factor is when we look at our alternative programs, we try to find a centrally located space in our large county because of the transportation cost. And so moving the students to the south end of Bellevue would be extra transportation expenses for our students in the north end. And one other important factor, I just want to remind the community, we were able to use our general fund to cover expenses to transport students that are attending Waimea Park right now that we do not receive transportation allocation for because they are within the 2-mile radius.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Whitehouse, if you can expand on anything, please.
Yes, I think you hit most of the points there. The cost is the really big factor for us. The cost for us to retrofit Waimea Park to be able to accommodate Bridgeway is very insignificant. The cost for us to continue operating Bellevue Santos as a school would be quite expensive. We left them out of the sales tax plan with putting new doors and walls on campuses and investing money because we knew we were building a whole new facility. I also want to point out when we—
Can you pull your mic up?
Are you able to hear?
Sure.
Sounds like he's in a barrel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry. I also wanted to point out when we talked about how we can utilize the space at Waimea for alternative learning, it's not just the behavioral alternative learning for Bridgeway. We also have the potential for an academic alternative learning site to include, which currently we have 250 to 300 students a year that attend academic alternative learning that would be combined at that site with the behavior, which would allow us to then eliminate some of the contracted services that we're using right now that are costing us millions of dollars. We also have the ability to move all of our adult general education programs from Marion Technical College that are eating up 20 portables at the MTC site and move those over to that campus as well, so we could have one hub for alternative learning sites for our community that would free up a lot of space, free up a lot of funding for our school district.
Thank you, Mr. Whitehouse. I appreciate you coming up and sharing, and Dr. Brewer, thank you. I knew there was a lot of thought that went into this, and off the top of my head, I knew transportation was going to be a big piece of that, but there were other things that I was unaware of, so thank you for that.
Thank you. Board Member Thur.
Thank you, Chair, and I do like your proposal. It was something that crossed my mind too as I was making my comments. I know I mentioned tabling, but what you shared, an amended motion would accomplish the same purpose. Wyomina does not need to remain on, pins and needles and in limbo, wondering what's going to be going on. But for them to have the opportunity to hear what you just shared, Mr. Whitehouse, in terms of that Wyomina as the school it is now would be changing, that is true. But it's not like it's going to be boarded up and forgotten about. It would be repurposed into a space. It would be repurposed into a space that would continue to meet a lot of people's needs, just like it always has met a lot of people's needs. We can't do anything about the timing. The cat's already out of the bag, and I continue to say that you have my sympathy because that was a harsh way to find out about it. But to have the opportunity to hear what the larger plan is, I think is important. Because I don't want to throw the whole plan away either. We have to get moving. And I don't know if there's enough space at Fordham to at least begin to phase in something. I mean, that's a whole another conversation. But to try to keep it a little briefer, I would be willing to entertain an amended motion.
Okay. Well, then I would be prepared to offer an amended motion. So is there any other discussion before I offer an amended motion?
Let's be clear what this amended motion is.
I will be clear.
And with this amended motion.
You have doubt, Reverend Cummings. You
Well,
already doubt.
I just want to make sure that you have our community here. They need to know that we're going to have conversations with them sooner rather than later. And they shouldn't hear about certain things in the wind. They should be able to hear about it from us through these community meetings and they being part of the conversation. That needs to be a part of what we're doing as we're moving forward.
Chair, if I may, one part of the rezoning process is the community meeting process that takes place, and that is when, and you're not voting on a rezoning right now, that what we were asking for is the vote for the consolidation of the campuses. The actual vote for the rezoning will take place close to December after the multiple community meetings do take place, and that's when the bigger plan is shared, and then we receive input from the community.
Board Member Thurr.
Thank you, Dr. Brewer. That was one of the points that I did write down, is that, yes, we have that as part of rezoning, and Mr. Ayers is great at that and does a really good job. But again, in the spirit of the fast things that need to happen in this community that the community is still trying to play catch up on and wrap their heads around, I just think it's a good roadmap for the future when we have conversations like this, before it gets announced 2 days after school starts or whatever, that it gets brought to them first to say, hey, this is not going to be the best timing, but here's what we're really looking at and why, get the feedback. It all just happened really fast. So I would like to propose that in the future, because this stuff is going to continue to happen. It just is because of what's happening in our community, that we get a very clear process and stick to it so the community doesn't feel blindsided and left out.
Yes, and so I'm prepared to offer an amended motion, and then I think it would be timely to be able to have some community meetings in the next 4 weeks and come before the board in early September in a workshop to present us some feedback and let us have further conversations so that if we proceed in this fashion, we're able to have maintain our timeline as close as possible, because the rezoning efforts for this portion of the plan include like 6 different schools. I think between the auxiliary zones that would come back to Fordham, as well as Oakcrest and Wyomina Park. And so it's important that we get started on that to make sure that we're giving families timely notice if that's in fact the direction we go.
And ensure that Oakcrest is included as well, if I may, because that will hugely affect their campus and
Yes.
their community.
Yes, ma'am, they are.
Okay.
So I would like to offer, may I have a motion to, I want to offer an amended motion to approve the future focused operations plan excluding bullet 5 from the 2026-27 school year, which is a plan Wyomina Park rezoning, excluding bullet 3 from the 27-28, which is complete Wyomina Park rezoning and relocate Bridgeway, and excluding bullet 4 from 27-28, which is expand Fordham to include a 3-5 magnet program. Do I have a motion on that?
So move.
Second.
Thank you. You knew what I meant. A motion by Board Member Cummings and a second by Board Member Conrad. Is there any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nay? Okay, sorry, I wasn't sure if I heard you, Dr. Campbell. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you to the community for coming out and being present tonight, and we look forward to joining you in your community soon for meetings to discuss this further. Moving on to D19.2, may I have a motion to approve bid 4182JL audio and video equipment?
So move.
Second.
A motion by Board Member Cummings and a second by Board Member Conrad. Dr. Brewer, you have something to share?
Yes, ma'am, thank you. This is a request to approve the award for bid 4182JL audio and video equipment. We have used this company in the past. You might remember when we first started smart board installations, we used them. So they won this bid again, and it is in the amount of, I missed it. Oh, they won the bid. So that's what we'll be able to use them now for.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Brewer. Any further comments or discussion from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. D19.3, may I have a motion to approve the furniture purchase for the new technology and information systems?
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Board Member Conrad and a second by Board Member Thrower. Dr. Brewer, do you have further
Yes,
information?
this is the one I wanted to give you a dollar amount for. This is for furniture purchase for the new technology and information systems office. This is furniture in the amount of $900,000, and it will be using capital projects fund.
Thank you, Dr. Brewer. Any discussions on this item?
Nope.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Discussion pulled agenda items. D20.1, may I have a motion to approve revised job description for Supervisor of Marion Virtual School and Home Education 1.28.
Motion to approve the revised job description.
Motion by Board Member Campbell,
Second.
second by Board Member Thrower. Ms. Conrad, you pulled the item for further discussion?
I did, thank you, Chair. I just wanted to say, just because an item is pulled doesn't mean that I'm not in support of it, but as I went through this item, at the bottom, there is an increase of about $13,000. So I know in the past, we don't always put that there's a financial impact on our job descriptions, but I wanted to see how the board felt because I think we should. We're counting every penny. We're keeping a tabulation as we add staff each year, as the year goes on, so we can keep up with how many we're adding to our staffing plan. We've got increase in insurance. We're talking about teacher raises. I just think that we can do better in our transparency with the increase in the salary for this position. I just wanted to make everybody aware. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Board Member Conrad.
And Madam Chair, I did ask that same question. I didn't get the amount. I asked how much of a pay increase this is going to be for this position.
Well,
I got a bunch of answers about some other questions, but I never got that amount.
You know what,
$13,000.
Chair, I need to make a clarification. When I looked at the salary schedule, I did look at just because I didn't know who the person was. I was looking at it as a position. And so that is, the $13,000 is if you go in as a step one administrator. So I need to clarify that's where that amount came from. Thank
You looked at the salary schedule?
Yes.
Any further comment or question?
Chair.
Yes.
I'll add, just for the community, this position was already approved on the actual staffing plan, and we did budget for it in our budget approval request.
And I appreciate that, Dr. Brewer, but I still think it's very confusing when it comes in at the beginning of August for the community to see, and there's such a big difference, in the salary. I just think it's good for us to share.
And I have to agree with Ms. Conrad on that because here it is, we've had conversations about other things and we just raised insurance and all those type of things. It's a bad look. It's a bad look how that came out, so.
Dr. Campbell?
Thank you. I just would like some clarification from Dr. Brewer. So I know a part of our budget workshop and budget conversation we had just last week was talking about the increase in those students utilizing the Family Empowerment Scholarship. And so those that are receiving home education and receiving the scholarship also fall under this specific employee, if I'm not mistaken. And so while we've seen the increase in those receiving that scholarship out of our district, thousands potentially have been also added to the home education department?
If they're utilizing Marion Virtual School or Florida Virtual School, they are not receiving, they're having to pay for the using Family Empowerment Scholarship. But overall, we do have many, and that's why we increase that position, because we have so many students taking part, being dual enrolled in our public schools and our utilizing Marion Virtual School or Florida Virtual School.
So the home education element to this is only Marion Virtual School?
Yes, ma'am. So if they are home, but if they are home education, they're not, and they're not using Marion Virtual, they are not, they are receiving family empowerment. Does that make sense?
And they don't have to register through Marion County Public Schools at all?
They register as home education students, but if they are taking Marion Virtual, that's where the confusion comes. He is responsible for home education, which includes Marion Virtual School, Florida Virtual as the model. Does that make sense?
I think Mr. Whitehouse would like to clarify.
Go ahead.
So you are correct, Dr. Campbell. Any of our students that are traditional home education mean that they are providing whatever curriculum they want at their house, to their family or through a network of families. They register through our home education office, which is run through this position, and they must submit an annual plan to the home education office that shows what those students are doing and how they're meeting their academic needs on an annual basis.
Thank you. And then also if they are taking tests, that also is scheduled through that home education department. So all of those students that come back to our schools. So again, board, I understand the increase in salary, but I think we've also been talking about significantly the numbers of families that have taken the Family Empowerment Scholarship to receive home education that now also funnel through this department and through this position.
And we haven't talked about virtual school in quite a while because it's just been kind of a normal thing for us. But if you recall, when we first started the Marion Virtual franchise, the students who were signing up for Florida Virtual, we were losing that FTE. So that money was going to Florida Virtual School, 1/6 or more of our FTE, depending on how many courses they took, were going to Florida Virtual. So by offering our own version of that and keeping those students, recruiting those students to stay with our teachers with Marion Virtual, we retain the FTE for that instead of losing that to Florida Virtual School. So it's actually bringing money back into the district for hundreds of students.
Thank you.
All right, any further comments or questions on this item? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Do we have any speakers related to the work of the school district, Ms. Martinez-Young?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. And do we have any speakers for off-year discipline?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, wonderful. Well, then we'll move into meeting reminders. There is a special administrative briefing and work session on budget and all other funds only scheduled for August 13th, 2026 at 9 a.m. And then we have an administrative briefing and work session on August 20th, 2026 at 9 a.m. and a school board meeting on August 25th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. Moving into board committee reports. I'm going to start with Ms. Martinez-Young's office.
Nothing, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Attorney Powers.
Thank you for not attempting to table a motion tonight, because as I've explained before, there's a lot of rules that go along with tabling, and a motion would die at the end of the next meeting if you table it. So we'll get into parliamentary procedure if ever you want to, but that's a wise choice not to do that.
Thank you. I think we're good on the parliamentary procedure for the evening, but appreciate that. We'll start with our student board representative. So, and sorry, I haven't memorized your names yet, so let me go back to my script so I know your name. Well, yes. Okay, Kayla. We'll start with Kayla. Go ahead, Kayla. Floor is yours. Make sure you speak close into the mic.
North Marion has no comments tonight other than besides the starting of a new school year. We welcomed about 300 new freshmen, so we're pretty good. We also have a senior class of also nearly 300. So we have our school spirit going this year. We're feeling a little bit crowded, but we'll get through it. You know, the first week is usually chaos, so we're filling out a lot of schedules. And of course, our ACE teachers are, of course, overburdened, but that can all be changed based on decisions that will happen later in the year that will probably be brought up that with the counselor and our ACE Cambridge coordinator, Ms. Spencer. I'll talk to them more on that. But besides that, North Marion has no further comment.
Okay, well, thank you for being here, and we're looking forward to working with you this school year. And then Kayla.
So Bellevue High School, we just welcomed our new freshmen at our annual freshman preview, and it was very successful, and we're looking forward to our next couple of weeks where we hold Club Rush, where we showcase all of our clubs that Bellevue offers for our students, and I would just like to say thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you.
And thank you for being here. The student voice matters, and having you here to provide insight, as well as be a representation for the board on your campuses, is very important. So we are grateful you're here. Dr. Brewer?
Yes, thank you, Abigail and Kayla. Yes, I have quite a bit to share, and some of that includes exciting Cambridge data. So both of you will be the first to hear it. So I want to start off by saying we welcomed 40,000 students yesterday in our doors, and we know we have one more day of kindergarten staggered start, so they will come in tomorrow. But I just want to give you a couple numbers. I know Mr. Christian sent his annual What Went Right press release yesterday, and so I won't read all those numbers, but I do want to highlight a couple important factors. We had 251 buses that traveled, that took about 25,000 students to and from school yesterday. We had 400 cafeteria workers that served over 35,000 meals to our students. During the summer, as you know, we've highlighted before, but our custodial staff worked very hard to prepare our schools. And just to include the mowing, they mowed over 1,700 acres of school grounds. That's a lot of acreage. Yesterday, we welcomed, between our teachers, our principals, and instructional support staff, we had about 3,300 that actually directly spoke to students, but that's just half of the amount of employees that made yesterday such a success. So I want to highlight all of those great successes. And then today we received our Cambridge scores. And so the second day of school is always an exciting day. So I want to share some numbers. Mr. Christian will send out a press release with details later, but I do want to take this opportunity to celebrate the hard work of our Cambridge students, teachers, coordinators, school leaders, and families. These examinations require students to think critically, communicate effectively, and demonstrate knowledge at an internationally recognized standard. So we are especially encouraged by our ACE diploma results. And for the community, this means that if you have an ACE diploma and you have your community service hours, you are given the Academic Bright Future Scholarship. And that's a game changer to our community. And so this is why we highlight this number so much. This year, 157 of our 235 candidates earned the diploma. A 3-year high success rate of nearly 67% and more than twice the number of diplomas that were earned 2 years ago. And we also saw notable strengths in subjects including global perspectives, history, mathematics, media studies, and Spanish, along with strong performances in several of our other school programs. I also like to recognize this summer Emily Cook from Forest High School and Mike Lucido from Bellevue High School. They were selected by Cambridge to attend the United Kingdom Cambridge Schools Conference and to speak on our behalf about the work they did but with piloting digital assessments. Access has expanded significantly across our district, and I'm not going to share all the passing numbers, but you can get with your schools. But Bellevue High School and Lakeware High School led the way for ACE Diploma Pathway schools with 61% and 58% overall AS level pass rates, while Bellevue and North Marion led the way with A-level results. So we're incredibly proud of all of our teachers and students and all of our parents that support our efforts in advanced curriculum. Board, I do have a request for you this evening. We would like to add the resolutions for the Duke utility easement for the Lakeware Middle site to the September 8th school board meeting. To do so, we will need to schedule a leasing board of directors meeting immediately before the regularly scheduled board meeting at 5 p.m. So I'm asking if 5 p.m. would work for the board.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I will let Ms. Terry Brown know.
Just important to note, we have a shade that day.
Yes, you do.
So we'll just have to conclude the shade more timely than normal.
Yes.
That's for the next school board meeting?
No, two meetings from now.
We need time to advertise it appropriately.
Right.
Okay, Chair, are you good, Reverend Cummings? No. So if we don't have it that date, we
Just need
could-
3 members.
You got
of the
enough,
board.
you got enough
Oh.
people for the vote, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, September the 8th, we will add a 5 PM leasing board of directors meeting before the regularly scheduled board meeting. Chair, that's all my comments this evening.
Okay, thank you. Board Member Thor.
Thank you, and I'll start by saying I want to thank Kevin as well for what went right, because so much did, and it was really a fun opening to the school year, and I'm grateful that you put all those just really important details about what it takes to run our little city of a school system and get things headed in the right direction on the first day. And it was great in so many ways. I started the morning at Fort King Middle School, and look, the campus just looks great. And there were so many great compliments about the outdoor dining and just the cleanliness, and that is just a testament to all the behind-the-scenes work that gets done by so many people to open the doors with bright, smiling faces. There was staff and faculty everywhere at Fort King welcoming students, making sure they were headed in the right direction, really keeping an eye out for the 6th graders that, of course, were kind of nervous because they had gone from 5th grade kings and queens to being in 6th grade in middle school. And it's just fun to observe the transformation in kids' faces when they're like, oh, okay, I think I'm going to survive this, and I think it's going to be all right. So that was a lot of fun to be a part of. Then I headed over to Vanguard, and just as I was heading out of my car, here comes Principal Wade over the system with a really uplifting, welcoming message that you could hear clearly all over the campus. Again, there was staff everywhere welcoming students, making sure they were headed in the right direction, ensuring that they were getting to the right classes. It was just a total team effort. And then prior to that, on Sunday, the day before school started, pretty much our whole district got covered in prayer by believers and people that wanted to share good vibes and encouragement for not just a great start to the school year, but for a great year all the way through. And that outpouring of community support just continues to grow. I want to thank Board Member Conrad and Church of Hope for being the inspiration for that. And more people are joining in. And teachers that worked hard all last week to get ready, we had more teachers than I remember even showing up on a Sunday, just to give that one final bit of positive to get everything started in the right direction. So that was just really great to witness and be part of. And I want to thank again Wyomina for coming out and force tonight. Ms. Brower, I think it's you that does a lot of the social media posts, and I see them all the time. And it really makes a difference, you know, when all of our schools, I think, have taken it to the next level in terms of showcasing the good things that are happening, because we all know if it bleeds, it leads, and that captures everyone's attention for about, well, 3 seconds if you're doing faster facts, and maybe 2 days if you're on social media, and then it just moves on to the next, you know, bleeding bad news. So thank you for sharing all of the good things that are happening, and just want you to know that it's noticed. And I'll end with saying that, you know, as hard as the work can be and how difficult it can be to make sure everyone's heard and make decisions and stay on schedules, I can't think of a more rewarding career. So if anyone's interested in thinking about coming to work for Marion County Public Schools, I'm pretty sure we still have at least a few select great positions left. So come on down, we need you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Board Member Thorough. Dr. Campbell.
Thank you, and I'll start by also thanking the folks from Wyomina Park for coming this evening and advocating strongly for the position, and also thank you to the board for the willingness to remove that from the conversation, at least for this evening. So that we can have those community meetings that we afforded many other communities to have. So I'm grateful for that. Thank you, board and superintendent. I too was in, we'll say, I think 15 total schools in the last 2 days, and everything that I heard was exactly what Kevin's, everything went right. Certainly there were things that were hiccups along the way, but many of the positive comments that you put in the press release, smoothest start we've had, this is wonderful, you know, we got out of, all of our buses were here just 10 minutes after the first bell. Like, it was, I had lots and lots of positive comments all throughout the district. Certainly the afternoon buses were a little different, but the morning buses were great yesterday. But I appreciate also to the community members who have been patient and heeded our recommendations and advice for understanding the first week of school, we have some kinks to work out, and we always do. Never is it ever going to change. There will always be kinks to work out. There will always be a massive line of cars down 36th Avenue in Bellevue. There will always be all of this hiccup. As soon as things level out, people realize what time they need to leave, all of that, it's going to work out. And so I appreciate the patience. We haven't had too many folks coming to us just yet with all the challenges, but I also wanted to say thank you to all of the district team and the leadership that is in the schools right now, because kind of what we call the central office staff are all over schools right now as well, providing that extra support, and lots of problem solving has already been occurring. So thank you to all of those folks who are helping to navigate some of those problems that have needed to be solved. A couple of the things that I wanted to reference that I know that the board will need to go ahead and start having conversations about. The 8th Street Osceola start times, while they are separate, in order for us to truly operate that in a way that will be the most efficient, I'm looking forward to additional board conversation on how those times can get even closer together so that there really can be some shared resources between the two campuses. And so that will be a welcome conversation as we continue. Also grateful that Dr. Brewer put in her update to us that school choice applications ahead of the window opening, that we will be at least looking at attendance and discipline for what that looks like in the future for school choice, so that those families that have those challenges might not get the first placement, because if you're already experiencing challenges in your base school, going to a new choice program where you have to provide your own transportation may not be the best option for you. So I'm interested in seeing how that will continue to work out. I'm also interested in seeing some of our numbers on our 5-day count to really see where we are. It's unfortunate, but it looks, based on where I was today, that Ross Prairie may have portables sooner rather than later. And that is unfortunate, but I think it also would lend itself to having additional conversations about what that looks like, and maybe even rezoning the whole Marion Oaks area yet again, because it's possible that we'll have 1,100 students at Marion Oaks Elementary, and we'll have more than 1,000 at Ross Prairie as well. And so there's a lot, again, problems to be solved, but we're here in the business to do that. I am also welcoming to the student board representatives, glad that we had them all here. That was a wonderful introduction to all of them this evening, so thank you for having their first meeting be where we could see at least most of all of them. And board, we will have a general session at the Florida School Boards Association December conference specifically about student board representation. And so we'll have a superintendent and a student board rep and some other folks that are going to be talking about that in a general session for everyone to see and hear how that's being done and how it can be effective in districts. Dr. Brewer, thank you for the reminder of Cambridge scores, because like I said, I was in 15 schools and I totally forgot. I got to look at my own kids and see how he did. So hopeful that that will be good. And finally, board, I think I've already expressed to you the possibility, but Thursday's work session on the budget, I will be participating telephonically. So looking forward to having the conversations about the capital budget on Thursday. And that concludes my comments.
Thank you, Dr. Campbell. Reverend Cummings.
Good evening once again, everyone. Thank you for, I think tonight's meeting was very productive. I think, the community having the opportunity to be able to address their concerns and was necessary and needed. I do want to say welcome to Abigail and Kayla, our student board members. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting this year. All of the student representatives were young ladies. Boys, y'all better step it up, guys. Y'all, I don't know where y'all at, but y'all slacking. So, and they're very articulate and smart young ladies. So it's going to be an interesting year. It's only a little bit of testosterone up here on this board, so I'm waiting to see what happens.
You're our Charlie.
Exactly. So, yesterday, I again, thank you, Kevin, and everybody's already said that you got off to you put the information out there. We got off to a very strong start on yesterday and today. I do want to say this to families. We are, and as Dr. Campbell just said, there's always going to be hiccups. There's always going to be little kinks in the chain. However, I appreciate that at the schools that I were at, the parents that were dealing with those hiccups and the staff that were dealing with those little kinks in the chain were patient, had the right spirit, had the right attitude. And sometimes things can be frustrating when it's not going as fast as you want it to go, but I just appreciate the spirit that people want to get it right. They want to help these families. I was at a school today that no, was it yesterday or today, where parents, please, so many schools it's getting to me. We got to make sure that we are doing some good things with our kids and communicating. And there is a language barrier. We often talk about Spanish and other things, but now we're dealing with some other languages, Creole. That's very prevalent in our school system right now. So we got some Creole paras and whatever we're gonna need to hire them as well. It's there. You can't say it's coming. It's already here. But we really are off to a good, strong start. The one thing that as I go around, I'm checking. Our transportation department is doing a good job, but they're going to get better. It's going to get better because oftentimes folk are saying, well, the bus was late. Well, it's the first week of school, and we're trying to work those kinks out. Mr. Jacobs, our transportation director, is working it out. And we're not going to leave. We're not going to leave. Let me say this. We're not going to leave a kid at the bus stop. We will not leave a kid at the bus stop. And they haven't. They've been picking them up. However, they may have to have their parents come pick them up from school because we got to make sure we do transportation right, and we got to make sure we get them on the right buses, and we got to make sure things are done the right way. So I'm encouraged by what I'm seeing. My shout out is to the supporting staff, because as I went to the schools, as we've gone to schools the past few weeks, and even yesterday and today, the schools are in great shape aesthetically because it was prepared. It was right for the right environment for people to walk into and say, I'm at a school. And our custodial department, Mr. Cook and all of his directors and his custodians, to the people that are making sure that the landscaping is correct. Those are the ones that we talk about, the administrators, we talk about the teachers, we talk about the paras and the people that's just in the classroom, but it takes all those other people to do their job to make sure that those people can do their job. And so at my church this past week, and I was here, I prayed at MTI this week. I'm sorry, Bridgeway. I called up all my kids. I called up all my kids first, and then I called up all the teachers that's in the church, or the people that work with the kids. I called them up behind them, but then I called all the people that's in my church that are support staff, and I had them surround them to build a wall around them, because they're the ones that hold up our district, and they're the ones that hardly ever get the accolades. Because if you did not have clean schools or safe schools, or you didn't have right landscaping, then what would they be going to? So I did it in such a way that I want to let them know that we appreciate them, and every piece of that chain makes a difference. Everybody is important. They may not make as much money as others in that group. However, every piece is important. So I thank you guys for what you're doing, and congratulations to all those for this great start that we had on yesterday and today.
Thank you, Reverend Cummings. Board Member Conrad.
Thank you, Chair, and I have just a few brief thank yous. I want to say I'm going to piggyback on Reverend Cummings and the rest of the board is just really got a lot of great feedback on transportation. And as we all know, that's one of our biggest challenges is our buses travel over 30,000 miles a day to deliver half of our students to school. And so it's quite a big job. But as I visited schools, I got so many compliments that I passed along to Mr. Jacobs yesterday evening. It was late when he had the opportunity to call me back, and he was just, bless his heart, he was exhausted. So I just wanted to say publicly thank you to Mr. Jacobs and his team. It's a big ship to get turned around and delivered, especially with the first couple of days with the kindergartners and the littles and all the things. So just want to give a shout out as he's working tirelessly. And along those lines, this weekend we had several back to school events. I think at least 6 that I was aware of. And Mr. McFadden was there, Mr. Jacobs, our superintendent, board members were there. And I just want to say that the week before school starts, teachers are showing up, and the week that school starts and all of our students, everybody's working morning till night. And so even on the weekend, our district team and our district leaders were showing up to give community support at different events throughout Marion County. So I just wanted to give a shout out to them for that. Board, I wanted to say thank you to you for showing up for 3G Sunday. Just a few things. I don't know if there's another school board in the state of Florida where you can say every single board member showed up to a faith-based activity on a Sunday to pray over the schools and their students and their staff. And so I just want to say thank you. I know we were all in different places and we didn't see each other during that event, but just want to say thank you very much to all of you for your commitment to participating in that in each year. And I also wanted to say, through social media, I saw that there were quite a few other churches that were involved this year, and so I don't have that list, but if you are part of a faith-based church, and you participated, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for joining in and praying over our students, because as I shared at the beginning of my statements, it's a great big district, a lot of schools to cover, and so we are thankful for each and every partnership. I want to thank Ms. Hunt and Ms. Brower. They're sitting back there still. They've hung with us the whole evening. And I just want to say, even though my vote is a little different than the rest of the boards, I value both of you so much and the work that you are doing. And you're such a value to this district and to your students and to your staff. And so I just wanted to say that publicly. I hope that you can feel that when I step onto your campus. And I'm sorry these conversations are so hard and so public, but I do appreciate you both so very much in the work. I know you work tirelessly for the students that come through your door each and every day. So I want to say thank you to both of you for leading your teams. And last but not least, I just wanted to acknowledge one of Marion County's biggest cheerleaders, Mr. Philip Hyde. If you are on the board or superintendent or other district leader, you may have received emails from him. He passed away last Wednesday. It was a hard loss for me as a board member. Mr. Hyde started calling me the first year I ran and didn't get elected, and was calling ever since. And so as a board member, probably as a district leader too, you don't get too many positive phone calls throughout the week. Most of them are complaints. But Mr. Hyde called at the end of each meeting throughout the week with research or information that he found that he thought just might help Marion County move in a positive direction. And so his loss hit heavy for me, and I just wanted to acknowledge that I appreciate the effort and time that he took every day to lift up Marion County Public Schools to make it a better place. because not too many people do that anymore. So anyway, thank you very much. Board Chair, that's all I have.
Well, thank you. And the rest of my board members have done a great job recapping kind of what the last week or two has been like. I've been in schools the last 2 days. We had lots of Jesus on Sunday, praying over schools and having Sunday back to school service. And I have to share, in between my events on Sunday, I ran to Chipotle and I saw one of our principals eating, and he said, I'm working all day, I'm just here to get a quick Chipotle lunch, and then I'm going back, because contrary to what many may believe, even when I was at North Marion praying, one of the teachers there, AJ, she was dressed to work because she was spending the whole day in her classroom. And so the weekend before school starts is not ever a relaxing weekend for people who work in public education, because they are so committed to making sure that that first day of school feels incredibly special. And so that level of commitment doesn't go unnoticed, and I'm always so grateful for it. Board, I want to say I appreciate your willingness to adopt an amended motion tonight so that we can move forward with a plan that is encompassing a lot of variables. And I can appreciate the remarks to have further community conversation. I have been a board member while I don't have a personal connection to Wyomina from family or relatives. I've spent a lot of time with Ms. Brower, personally giving of my time, talent, and treasure to Wyomina Park. And the conversations that this board has continued to have since I was elected, and we will continue to have, regardless of any of our presence here, because Marion County has changed, and it is changing, and it's not going to stop changing. And so we have to be responsive to that. Those conversations are hard, and they require change, and the change is uncomfortable. I am going to remain a board member who believes that the magic that the 11 different individuals tonight shared about Wyomina Park is not confined to the halls of Wyomina Park. And that magic is contained in the people, and of the people who teach, and the people who lead, and the people who support that school, and in the magic of the students. And often I find when we remove the adult feeling from the conversation, the kids just want to be loved. And that love comes from all of you in the community, and that love will go wherever you go. And so I look forward to conversations in the community in the next month where we can have further conversation and really dig into this, and then make some conversations and decisions that will impact a variety of schools. So I am grateful for you all being here, and I am a partner through and through, regardless of where those walls are. So you have my support always. With that, I am going to move us into a close. So in there being no further business, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
A motion by Board Member Conrad and a second by Board Member Cummings. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. We will adjourn at 7:52. Thank you.
So what do you think?